Hello there. Welcome back, friends, to my channel. Today we are going to see what is acid properties on a transaction. Okay. So as usual, the agenda would be understanding about the acid properties and then a practical demo. Okay. Uh, before jumping into the acid properties, I would suggest that you should know what are transaction. So I have already made a video on a transaction in SQL Server. So if you have not gone through that, then I would suggest to go through that and then come back to this video. I would include a link into the description section of this video. But just in a nutshell, let me tell you what is a transaction. A transaction in SQL Server is a group of SQL statements that are treated as a single unit, and they are executed by applying the principle either everything would be success or nothing, right? And if there is a success, then it should pass a acid test. Okay, a successful transaction must pass an acid test. Okay, so a transaction is what, that if you have a number of DML statement between the transaction, right, then either everything, each and every DML statement should have a success, or if there is an issue with any of that, then everything would be rolled back. This is the property of a transaction. Okay, what are acid properties? So there are basically four main four properties: atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Let us see each one of it, in a detail. So what is an atomicity? It is like a transaction only. Either all the DML operation inside the transaction completes or rollback. So as I told you that within a transaction, if there are 10 transactions, 10 DML operations, and if on the 10th DML operation, if something goes wrong, right, then the changes made by all other DML operations within a transaction would get rolled back. Nothing would get saved. Okay. What is a consistency? It ensures database consistency. If a transaction is successful, then it will apply the changes. If the transaction has an error, then everything would be rolled back. Okay. And third one is that within a transaction, still if the transaction is going on and the changes are happening, and during that time, if system failure happens, right, then also every all the changes done till now would get rolled back. Okay, so this is a consistency. It would not actually save any half state data. Either everything would be success or nothing. Okay, what is an isolation? Every transaction is individual, and one transaction can't access the results of another until the transaction is complete, right? So for example, there is an employee table and my transaction one is accessing that table, and it is the transaction is still going on, and at the same time, if second transaction try to access the employee table, then it would not be allowed. So it would be, basically isolated. The employee table, the data of current of the employee table for that transaction would be isolated, and it would not be allowed to actually access until my transaction one gets completed. Okay. And what is durability? Once the transaction is completed, changes made to the database are permanent. Okay, so once the transaction is completed, database changes made to the database are permanent. Okay, right? So let us see in action what is everything. So let me first create two tables. Here I am creating two tables. One is employee table and one is designation table. Okay, so let me create both this table, and the definition of the employee table is employee ID, employee name, varchar, and birth date as a date. And definition of designation is designation ID is integer and designation name is in varchar. So let us start with an atomicity. What is an atomicity? Okay, as I told you, it is like a transaction only, that whatever DML statements within the transaction all should success. So here is successful scenario is there. I am inserting two records in both of this table, employee and designation, right? And they are all successful records. So if I execute this, then two records get inserted, and now you can see two records because there was no error. Okay, let me truncate this table, and now there is an unsuccessful scenario wherein my designation I am putting the correct values, but in my employee table you can see for birth date I am just putting an integer value. Okay, and my birth date column contains a date type. Okay, so you know that this is going to give us an error. Okay, so let us see. Yes, as expected, it has actually errored out. But now if you go back and see, then you can see no records would be inserted into both of these table. Now this was a proper record, but still this got inserted, and then actually this has an error, and hence it actually rolled back the values inserted into the designation table also, and hence we are saying that there is no record, right? So this is an atomicity. Either everything would be successful or nothing. Okay, let us come back to consistency. So in consistency, as I told you, it is like an atomicity only, that either everything would be successful. If it is a successful transaction, then it will apply a changes, right? If it is an erroneous transaction, then it will roll back everything. And with that, when transaction is going on, in and any system failure would happen, then also everything would be rolled back. Okay, so which means what? No half state data would be actually persisted or saved to the database or to a table, right? Everything successful within a transaction, only a whole successful transaction would be saved. So here what I'm doing, of course, I am putting, inserting one record into designation and employee, and both of these are valid values. So ideally, it should get success, and then I'm putting a delay statement here for 2 minutes, and within this delay, I would restart this. Okay, so once I restart this, you will see there were no records. Though this has got, this is inserted, no records would be displayed. Okay. So let me show you. I will have to show this from an another window with the help of with no log. Hopefully, give me a second. Okay. Right. So now I have started a transaction. Okay, it is a delay. Now let us see. Now you can see here currently both the records are added into this table. But before the transaction get complete, I am restarting this. Okay. So this has been restarted. Okay. Let me refresh this. Okay. And now already this is in disconnected session. Okay. So now if you again go back and if you will check this record, then you will see nothing is there. Why? Because as I told you that within a transaction, if something happens, now when we restarted, it was actually assumed that some system failure had happened. So before restarting, I had shown you this record, but as soon as I restarted the instance, actually the record got deleted because the commit transaction we didn't apply the commit transaction because we had given a delay, right? So I had just created this scenario that within a transaction, if something goes wrong, still both of these value actually got inserted into table, but before they get committed, actually system failure happened, and hence when the system failure happened, actually it rolled back each and every changes, right? So this is basically a consistency. Okay, let me connect this first. I think we will have to move this onto the new window because that is in disconnected state. Okay, so let me truncate this table first. Okay, tables are truncated, and let us now see isolation again. The same way. Here you can see I have started a transaction and I'm not committing either I'm not committing also, and I'm not rolling back also. Okay, and I'm trying to insert one record into the designation table. Okay, so let me insert this one row inserted, and let me actually refer this table designation from another window. So now this is my one transaction and this is my another transaction with two windows. Okay, so you can see here this would never come back. Why? Because still it is not rollback or committed. As soon as I would actually fire a statement of commit or rollback, this would get executed. Okay, so let me do a commit, and this shows that it is an isolated, each transaction is isolated. Okay, so until and unless this transaction doesn't complete, right, it will not allow this transaction to access that table. Okay, so let me give, and you can see here, just keep watching this executing. As soon as I fire execute statement, see, this has completed and it has given me one record. Okay, so this is an isolation. So unless and until I don't complete, see, whenever you start a transaction, you need to complete that either with a rollback statement or with a commit statement, whatever it may be, right? But here initially I didn't given any such statement, and hence this this window or this transaction was still going on, and hence it doesn't allow us to access that table because the transaction was going on. And as soon as I fired the commit statement, this got successful, and we it returned a record from that table. Okay, so this is an isolation. And then again the same thing, what is the durability? So now if I, within the transaction I'm committing also transaction, I'm committing this transaction with designation. I'm adding the designation as operation. Okay. Uh, this has completed. And let me again restart this. So which means what, a successful transaction was completed. So even after then system failure or if your instance is restarted, right? Then also after that, if you will try to access that, you will you will get a data, right? Whatever was committed, right? So this means that, in a durability, once a successful transaction is completed, then after that, whatever happens, right, you will get that saved data back. Okay. So these were the four properties of our, asset properties of on a transaction. So hope you have enjoyed this video, guys, and keep learning and keep reading and keep watching several videos so that your doubts get clear more and more. Okay, so thanks for today, and as usual, don't forget to press a like button, to press a bell button, right? And don't forget to subscribe my channel so that you will keep getting notification whenever I upload such videos. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day. See you next time with next topic. Till then, bye and take care.